All right, so the most obvious start for me today was to just put together what's been sitting here right next to me. And since I've been doing a lot of these shibori components, I thought that I would just play with them a little bit. You know, normally, if I want to start with 9, well, a lot of times I just put 9 patches together, make a block, and then apply things to that as a base. And many times when I start with something that's more patterned, I arrange it like the regular traditional quilt block, that is a checkerboard. Usually I use 5 darks and 4 lights. But this time, because I was talking about the longer format and the feel of how when you align things, they seem to be continuing, I just took a very simple twist on the 9 and just made 3 rows of 3. And I think in that way, it's funny, but in a way, it seems longer to me. It doesn't seem as square because my eye follows the 3s of things. And these are just sort of placeholders because I had them here and because I'm playing a little bit. But there's a lot to say about these components themselves. You know, the indigo dyeing is fun, and I like what it can produce, but it's also extremely time consuming. And as the weather gets colder, the vat has to be kept warm, and I usually like to do this outside. So I don't know how many more I'll make. But for now, there's something to play with. And I want to talk about the making of them, and because I have a lot of variations that happened in between posts here. So I'll do that. But, you know, really it's a resist method. And it's just taking these small pieces of fabric and kind of making a sandwich. The circles, I very often use coins and just put a coin on either side so that the cloth is kind of the filling of the sandwich, and then just clamp it and dip it in the dye. And where the fabric is sandwiched between the coin in this case, or the star shape or whatever, it stays the same color as the original cloth, and the indigo dyes where the fabric is not clamped between the pattern. You know, one of the reasons that I sought help doing this was because, you know, I have an arthritis problem, and it flares up, but, you know, squeezing those clamps is just really not good for me to do that often. It's okay once in a while. And I realized that the clamping is very important, which I learned from Glennis was, you know, I very often use more than one clamp to make sure that there's a real seal there. And it's a little straining on my hands, to tell you the truth. The 1 star up top is a stitch resist. And I've done a lot of experimenting with that, so I'd like to actually show you some of those. But for now, this is a start, and I'm interested in thinking about the sun, moon, stars as a base rather than what I usually do, which is to start with a plain base and put the sun, moon, and stars on it. So it's a little bit of a different twist. It's something simple. I'm not sure I'm going to use these particular little pieces, but it has me thinking today a little differently about focus, and how instead of focus being the details that you might be thinking about the focus as a base. So, yeah.